There's concern today for President Trump's health after a C-SPAN cameraman spotted a peculiar circle on his hand.
Donald Trump underwent an MRI last month at Walter Reed Medical Center, and we still don't know why.
White House reporters and other observers were paying attention to some very real developments when it comes to the health of our 79-year-old president.
Now, a lot of people are saying that something is seriously wrong with Donald Trump's health and that he isn't fit enough to be the head of state. Well, today we will be looking into the concerns and I will give my honest opinion on the matter.
For generations, Miami has been a haven for those fleeing communist tyranny in South Africa. I mean, if you take a look at what's going on in parts of South Africa, look at South Africa, what's going on. Look at South America, what's going on. You know, I'm not going to, we have a G20 meeting in South Africa.
Hi, I'm Dr. Austin, and this will be an unbiased analysis of Donald Trump's health from what is publicly available and known. I'm apolitical, and I'm just here to talk the science. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Now, the first major signs that a lot of people started to notice were the bruises on his hands and the swelling in his legs. And because of this, many people started to question Donald Trump's health. Anyway, these signs indicate that there is some sort of problem going on with his circulation. Later on, the White House came out with a report stating that Donald Trump was evaluated by the medical unit, and the official diagnosis, they said, was that he has chronic venous insufficiency. So what exactly is chronic venous insufficiency, and is it something serious? Well, we all know that the heart pumps blood, but in order to do this, there has to be a constant entry and exit of blood flow in the heart. That's where the vessels come in. I wouldn't go into details, but arteries allow for oxygenated blood to be spread to all parts of the body. They are thick because they have to withstand the high pressure. Veins, on the other hand, are thin and they help return deoxygenated blood to the heart. They are thin because the blood pressure in them is considerably lower than the pressure in the arteries. Because of this, and also because they are going against gravity to help return blood back to the heart, they have structures inside them called valves. These valves prevent the backflow of blood so that they can reach the heart. So in Donald Trump's condition, chronic venous insufficiency, some of the valves in his veins are defective. And because of this, there is a backflow or a buildup of blood in the area where the vein is located. And you see, the severity of this condition varies and is not known to be something life-threatening. But it's still important to manage properly before it causes serious problems. Treatment can be things like exercise, using compression therapy, medication to treat underlying conditions like hypertension, or in severe cases, surgery to either stop the circulation to the vein or remove the vein entirely. Now, this here is an event that a lot of people notice, that half of Donald Trump's face appears to be drooping. Many people speculated that something was wrong, and others said it was just pretty normal. But in my opinion, guys, from looking at the picture, the drooping of his face to this degree does not seem normal. And I wasn't able to find any other evidence in the past where this happened. Now, is there cause for concern? Well, I can't really say, because more neurological tests would have to be done and we would have to see the results of those tests. But what I do believe that there was a mild form of stroke that happened. I could be wrong, I'm not too sure, but that's what it seemed like. Anyway, apart from the visible signs that many people were talking about, many also said that Donald Trump is showing signs of mental decline. So let's analyze and see if it's normal cognitive aging or actual dementia.
Although my uncle was at MIT, one of the great professors, 51 years, whatever, he was the longest serving professor in the history of MIT, 3 degrees. Kaczynski was one of his students. Do you know who Kaczynski was? There's very little difference between a madman and a genius. But Kaczynski, I said, what kind of a student was he, Uncle John, Dr. John Trump? He said, what kind of a student? And he said, seriously good. He said he'd go around correcting everybody, but it didn't work out too well for him.
Ted Kaczynski was not identified as the Unabomber until 1996, 11 years after John Trump passed away. It would have been impossible for John Trump to have ever discussed the Unabomber with the president. So what was he talking about? And I have one follow-up.
Andrew, with so many issues going on in the world, I'm a little bit surprised you would ask such a question, although I'm not sometimes coming from you, I will say, but I'm willing to give you an answer. Nevertheless, the president's uncle did, in fact, teach at MIT. He was a very intelligent professor. The president's very proud of his family. In fact, the president has a letter from his uncle on the MIT letterhead that sits in the Oval Office dining room. Maybe we'll let you see it sometime.
Now, I'm not too sure why she got so offended there, but she didn't even answer the actual question that the guy asked. Anyway, what I must say is that there is some sign of concern here, because this is proving that there is some form of fabrication here in his memory. However, part of his story is still true. His grandfather was actually a professor at MIT. So although it is a cause for concern, I wouldn't say it's something to panic about unless it happens frequently where information is constantly fabricated. Some people also mention the rambling, but I can't really comment on that because I haven't watched a lot of Donald Trump to know if that's something he normally does. I also want to mention that there were reports of Donald Trump doing 2 physical exams in 1 year when he usually does 1. But unless we actually understand why or the results of the physical exams, we can't really comment on it. What I must say is that being in politics, especially at the level that Donald Trump is at, takes a huge toll on the body because of the stress and the responsibilities that you have. In my opinion, I really don't think people above the age of 75 should be running for office to actually be the head of state. But of course, if they're able to successfully pass a physical and mental examination, then I think it's only fair to allow them to be in power or to run for office. Anyway, at age 79, there will be obvious normal mental decline. But the most important thing is that it should be slow and not affect daily activities. Are there signs for concern? I would say yes. But there isn't too much to go on to know if it's at or approaching the panic stage. Anyway guys, that's the end of the video. Now there actually was a guy who was able to survive multiple weeks without the human heart. So if you want to go and check that out, then go and click on this video right here. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you do want to watch more health and wellness videos like this, then don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching again and take care. Peace.